What is up, everybody? How are you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Braden, as you already know. Guys, today is super exciting. We got a couple things on our agenda. Now, obviously you saw the title below. Now, it doesn't matter if you're an automotive photographer or any photographer. Hopefully you're trying to better yourself and learn new techniques to help improve your photography. So today we're going to talk about an important 30-second hack in order to make your photography go from something that's like okay to something that looks so much better, almost professional. So let's talk about that today. We're gonna head out real quick. We gotta grab our equipment real quick. Need that, and I'm gonna need two hands. All right, guys, so the important topic at hand today is composition. Now, this little 30-second hack is going to help you not only make your photos look more professional, but they're also going to look more appealing. Now, what's composition? Composition is the way the photo is composed. Okay, you're talking about foreground, subject, background, other elements that help add to the photo. So we're going to talk about a lot of that today. But first off, we need to run an errand. Like always, I know we're going to get to it here very soon, but luckily in today's video, we are taking out the R8. So hopefully it's not too disappointing. Let's get this washed up. I need more photos of this thing, and she is so dirty right now. It's still kind of like this weird transition in Utah between like winter and spring and warm weather. So cue the montage. All right, car is cleaned up. Time to load. I will say this, one of my favorite aspects of this car is the sound. All right, guys, we have made it to the spot. This is so sick, guys. Check this out. Like, oh my Lanta. And look at the way that it sits, guys. I am so stoked. So here's the thing. I want to make this video short because obviously it's only a 30-second tip, but there's some important things I have to mention before we just completely give it away. Okay, so the one thing that I do see a lot when people are shooting photos of cars is the way that they compose the photo. Now, obviously when we talk about composition, we're talking about the foreground, the subject, and the background. With cars, it's hard because you want that to be the main focus of the photo. So too often, people are getting so close to the car that it takes up the entire frame. Now, does it make it the main subject? 100%. Does it look good? Not really. And look, we've all made the mistake. In fact, if you look at my photos, which I might post a couple here, of when I first started, that was my biggest issue. So there's a couple rules to understand when you're shooting cars, all right? All right, so the first issue that I see when people do it, obviously, is getting too close to cars. So let's talk about this. Now, right here, we're pretty far away because this is a super wide angle lens. Now, as I get closer, you notice the perspective and the way the car looks changes, okay? Let's take a look at this here, okay? So if I'm posing up for a shot, I want to make sure that I do this in thirds. Let's talk about this. Now, this shot actually doesn't look too bad. I would say this is a good composition. We're somewhat center in between these containers. Now, when you're shooting, one of the rules that is important to understand in composition and when shooting cars, and this is the big tip, okay, guys, get ready for this. It's the rule of thirds. Now, there's other different like ways you can do this, but in car photography, it's really important, okay? So let's look at this, okay? So if I was to take this shot, let's just say I took it like this, all right? If you notice, you've got the foreground right here, which takes up the bottom half of the screen, and then you've got the car, which is kind of the center half, and then you've got the containers, which is the top half. So 1, 2, 3. Now, I'm gonna try to add a grid right here. So what we wanna try to do is use one of the 3 grids to make sure that this car has a good landscape. Because I mean, if you're too close, you don't really understand the setting. It looks kind of weird. And if you're too far away, it can kind of blend in the background. Now, there's different ways of going about it, and there's obviously a lot of techniques that you can do, but this is really important when shooting photography, especially when you start to mix other elements when shooting cars. So take this angle for a example, okay? So we are shooting at this angle. This is probably an angle I'd shoot. I'd obviously reposition the car, but it's nice because we have something that outlays our foreground, which is all the dirt right here, and this container. Then you have the subject, which takes up the middle grid, and then you have the containers at the very top, which take up the top part of the grid. Now, that is an angle that I think would look very good, and you don't have to always use the middle, but it's something that allows the subject be the main focus, I should say, of the photo. Anyway, it's just something that can improve the look of your photos. Now, it's really simple, okay? Simple is taking a couple steps back, maybe a couple steps forward, and getting it right. So this little 30-second tip can take your photography to the next level, okay guys? It's very important that you understand this rule and concept. It will make your photos look amateur to a little bit more professional, okay? I'm gonna show you guys a few examples. Let's shoot some photos, and I'm waiting on a client, which should be here very soon, so we gotta hurry. All right, guys, so last quick thing I want to talk about while we're out here, because this is such a unique location. When we're doing reels of thirds, there's a lot of different other strategies and techniques you can do. In fact, let's talk about this shot right here. All right, I don't know if you guys can see that real well. Maybe you can right there. So if you notice, we are still using the same rule of thirds while incorporating different effects of light, using this post on the side to help create some depth, as well as using the containers in the back to help make this pop. So I'm just gonna grab a couple shots like this, and I'm really happy with that. But look at that right there. So super sick. This 30-second technique, it is so simple, but yet it is such a mistake from a beginner photographer. And look, I'm preaching from the choir because I was doing this in the very beginning as well. But this little technique takes you 30 seconds to adjust, can change how you do photography and make your photos look that much more professional. So guys, if you liked the video, please go ahead and comment below. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you want to see future content, especially the build on the R8, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification, because we got some really exciting stuff. Got a ton of parts ordered for this. Guys, it's going to be really exciting. So thank you again for tuning in. See ya.